Good morning and happy Easter, everyone. It's around 10:40 a.m. and I find myself in Hampton, Tennessee at the Black Bear Resort. So I want to share a few things in this video regarding my Appalachian Trail attempted through hike. I'll start by telling you how I got my injury, and then I'll kind of go from there. So yesterday, around 3:15 Eastern time, Gretel and I had met up at a church that was on one of the roadways, and we agreed that we were going to go another 2 to 2.5 miles to find a stealth camping site. So that was the plan, and so we headed out together to make our way down the mountain. And in doing so, we came across a lot of blown down trees that we had to navigate through. So like any other time, I kind of took the lead on this one, and there was a huge blowdown on the trail. And typically when you have something like that, you go around it or you go over it. There's no other way. There's no way around this tree because it was just too far into the woods. So I did what I typically do, and I climbed over the top of it. So I got myself on top of this tree, and I'm straddling it like riding a horse, when all of a sudden I started falling backwards. I did have my backpack on. It's only 30 to 32 pounds at the time. And again, I've done this numerous times, so it wasn't new to me. But anyway, I started slipping backwards off the top of the tree. And in an effort to catch myself so I wouldn't really hurt myself by falling off the other side of the tree, I reached out with my left arm and grabbed onto the tree. I did stop myself from falling, but at the same time, I just felt something give in my chest. There was a sharp pain. So when I got to the other side, I fell to the ground for a minute and tried to catch my breath, and I did. I had no problem breathing, but it was it hurt really bad. It was very, very painful. So we got through that. I put a Band-Aid on one of my fingers because I had cut one of my fingers. And Gretel and I started on. I put my pack on, and I was able to hike along. It was sore and painful. But about a quarter mile into it, it just got too painful, and I just told Gretel, I'm like, I don't know that I can go any further. Well, it just happened that we were coming to a roadway that I guess was on the map, but I wasn't aware of. And there were these two ladies waiting at the roadway. Now, this roadway is paved, but it's out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing out there. So we stopped, and I asked these ladies what they were up to, and they said they were waiting on a shuttle to the Black Bear Resort. And at that point, I just looked at Gretel and I said, I need to get this looked at a hospital, so I have to get off here. So Gretel gave me a concerned look, and we said our goodbyes. It was tough because Gretel is an amazing person, has become a very good friend of mine over just the last 45 days or so. But I sent him on his way, and I told him that I look forward to seeing him summit Mount Katahdin in Maine in the next few months. And then I waited for the shuttle to get there. Anyway, long story short, those two ladies were amazing, by the way, and the shuttle driver. They bypassed the Black Bear Resort and took me to a hospital in Johnson City, which is about 40 minutes away. Got to the emergency room, dropped me off, and then they went back on their way. I spent a good amount of time at the emergency room getting x-rays and just waiting for the doctor to consult me. Around 7:45 p.m., he told me that I did not have any fractures, and it was likely a pulled muscle. There was no MRI. It could be a tear. I don't know. But I will tell you that when I was moving along with my backpack on, it just felt like something was moving around. And that's what worried me. I thought maybe I'd fractured something, and I didn't, obviously. So they gave me some different pain medications, and the shuttle driver came all the way back down there, 40 minutes out of his way at night to shuttle me back to the hospital. But not only did he do that, he stopped at Walgreens so I could get my prescription medicines, and he took me to Chick-fil-A because I hadn't eaten anything since the Pop-Tarts I had had at breakfast. This resort's amazing. The people that run it are very, very kind and helpful, and they've been very concerned about my injury. I will tell you that I slept fitfully last night, maybe just a few hours. I was in a little bit of pain. I found that I could actually rotate around as I was sleeping. I thought I'd be stuck on my back. I think it was more about what was going through my brain at the time that kept me awake, not necessarily the pain that I was experiencing. Now I want to share something else with you. Prior to this, I had rolled my ankle, my right ankle, or something to that effect, because it had swollen up on me a little bit, and it was causing me a lot of pain and grief, especially at night when I stopped hiking and it tightened up. While I was hiking, it kind of loosened itself up, and I never felt the pain. I will tell you that the pain is non-existent in my ankle at this point. I think what's happened is it's transferred to my chest, so I'm not feeling it at all, but I feel perfectly fine in that ankle right now. No stiffness, nothing. So kind of strange how that works in your brain. So I want to keep going now and share with you that this trip was the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life. And I'm so thankful to everybody that kind of pushed me along and gave me encouragement, kind words. believed in me, my wife Gwen for allowing me to do this, to encourage me to do this, my son Nathan, who called me at the hospital last night because he was concerned about me. I feel so loved, and I appreciate all of that from all of you. So thank you so much. This hike was not always fun, I'll be honest. I've never in my life hiked 48, 49 days. The sad thing is, this incident took place at mile 399.8. I was 0.2 miles away from the 400-mile mark, which is ridiculous. I was so excited about being there and sharing that with you, and I never got to do that. But, that's what it is, and that's fine. But again, thank you all for following along and being my supporters. I truly appreciate it. This trail, just, this is going to sound cliche, but it's restored my belief in humanity. At home, I was very cynical about a lot of things, especially politics, and obviously I don't want to go there right now. But I will tell you that when you're on the trail, there wasn't one instance where people weren't wanting to be helpful and go out of their way for you. I had a small trail family that I made up along the way, Gretel being one of them. Gretel's real name is Julian. He's a mechanical engineer from Germany. The most amazing person I've ever met. Well, one of 3 most amazing persons I've ever met. I have no doubt that he'll get to Katahdin. He's a strong hiker. He's very, very kind. He will do anything for you at the drop of a hat. And I hope that we maintain our friendship long into the future. I've promised him the opportunity to come out to California and stay with us. I think my wife would enjoy his company. He's a very good guy, very smart. If you want to know anything about greases or lubrications, talk to this guy. That's what he did in the automotive industry in Germany. He was on a sabbatical. He was actually being paid 80% of his salary to take up to a year off. That's how things work, I guess, in Germany, which is crazy to me, but I think that's awesome for him. Another trail family member that I will forever be eternally grateful to is Dodger, or Matthew, from Wales. Another amazing guy. He would drop everything for you as well. I hope that we continue our friendship well into the future. Unfortunately, he got off in early April because of his hip issues. I know that he would have loved to continue. And I will tell you, time and time again, I've seen people either get injured or sick on the trail, and you look in their eyes and they look like they're about to be in tears because they are so sad that they have to leave the trail. A final friend that I made is Stephen Wall from, I believe, Connecticut. He is 62 years old, turning 63 on April 30th. He was an executive with a coffee roasting company, a regional coffee roasting company up in Connecticut, I believe. And he fell behind us by about 50 miles. He is so determined. He had developed a shin injury. He thought it was shin splints, a stress fracture. He actually got it checked out at an emergency room further south and ruled out the fact that it was fractured. But he had to really take it easy, so he really cut down on his miles. I did reach out to him over the last few days, and he's out around Irwin, Tennessee, so Uncle Johnny's area, still plugging away. That guy is the epitome of determined. He has been injured for weeks, and it was very, very painful for him. But his will and determination, he is not giving up on this trail. He's giving it his all. He's fighting every urge to stop and go home. And I hope that he does reach whatever he wants to achieve on this, whether it be all the way to Katahdin or just as far as he can. I hope he doesn't injure himself any further. Great people. All of the people doing trail magic on the side of the road, just complete strangers who chose to help us out just because they had been through this themselves as they attempted through hikes or completed through hikes in the past. People that would go out of their way again to help you. The hostel owners, the people you meet on the trail. I mean, I'm going to just throw out a bunch of names. People I came across on the trail as I was hiking. There was Second Wind, a young guy that I met early on in the hike. I haven't seen him since. Ladybug, a young woman early on in the hike that I haven't seen since. Bougie, a woman that has her own YouTube channel as well. She has a different kind of hike going, and so we're going in opposite directions, but I haven't seen her in quite a while. I hiked with Gretel. I hiked with Dodger. I hiked with 62. An older gentleman, I believe from West Virginia, named Machine. A woman, a female artist, an older woman from Mississippi, I believe, or Louisiana, Adventurine. There was Bugs from West Virginia, a young woman, I think 23, 24, very strong hiker. Pooh Bear, a big guy that had just gotten out of the Navy. There was Hot Tamale, Roadrunner from Nebraska. Let's see, there was Jack in a Box, a very strong young guy that was carrying a 48-pound pack, and he was just barreling up these mountains, just amazing. There was old school, a young guy, I forgot where he was from, but he had started off with a Kelty external frame pack and it broke down on him within the first 30 miles. So he had to buy a new pack, but he got the name Old School. All of these people, I have no doubt many of them will make it all the way through to Katahdin. They're very strong, very caring people. We took care of one another on the trail. It didn't matter who you meet or who I met. They would take care of me. I would take care of them. My family, 62, Dodger, Gretel. In 48 days, I grew such a bond with these guys that I would consider them my sons, my family, because they were much younger. Matthew, or Dodger, is 36 years old. Gretel is 39 years old. Obviously, 62 is 62 years old, soon to be 63 years old. So lessons I learned on this trail. I mean, I went through amazing times on this trail. Scenes I was astounded by. I went through misery. I had thunder and lightning literally right on top of me. I had heavy downpours of rain with hail that lasted 8 hours of hiking where I thought I was going to become hypothermic, and thankfully found a shelter that I could duck into and change clothing. I had days where it was 70 degrees, but it felt 90 because of the humidity. Something I wasn't prepared for was the need to have a good diet while you're on the trail. A lot of these people really put a lot of time into putting effort into counting calories, knowing the calories they needed. I think my overconfidence from my prior backpacking had me thinking that that wasn't something I needed to worry about. I remember vividly preparing for this hike where I wasn't worried about that at all. The fact of the matter is that was one of my downfalls. In the 40-something days I was on the trail, I went from 176, I think I'm like 154, 155 right now. That's just too much weight loss in such a short amount of time. I can only imagine how thin I would have been by the time I got all the way up to Maine, should I have gone that far. And that was concerning. I was severely dehydrated more than one time, to the point of dizziness where I thought I was going to faint. It's just ridiculous what I put myself through. I should have been drinking more water. I should have been putting more time into calories. I talked to Gwen on numerous occasions about how I could beef up my calories, and she gave me some excellent advice that I put into action. Drinking big jugs of chocolate milk when I was in town. That came from another hiker. Adding butter and olive oil to all of your meals. Some people ate raw butter outright just to eat the calories. I felt like I was slowly but surely starting to get my diet in order so that I probably could have continued on, even though I was losing weight. I would tell you I probably lost 6,000 calories a day, would be my guess, maybe even more. And I was probably averaging about 1,500 to 1,800 calories while I was on the trail, not near enough. So that was an issue. And that was my overconfidence and not thinking that I needed to worry about that. And obviously that was not true. Now, let me share a truth with you. I did get injured. It's not the way I wanted to leave the trail, for sure. I am in a little pain right now, but I'll be fine. It's going to recover, I'm sure of that. I am so looking forward to being home with Gwen, with Nathan, with all of my friends and family. I miss it a lot. I didn't miss it as much as I thought I would while I was on the trail, but now I've had time to kind of think about it. I miss it a lot. But here's my truth. I had contacted Gwen about a week prior to this injury, telling her that I was pretty much done with this hike, that I was tired mentally and physically. When your mental state goes, it's so easy just to kind of allow yourself to say, okay, I'm done. There's this saying, never quit on a good or on a bad day, quit on a good day. And but I think that there's a twist to that saying. The last 3 days, the weather has been beautiful. And I initially, you may have seen in some of the prior videos, I was kind of in a funk and a little miserable, climbing steep mountains in the sweltering heat or the freezing cold can get to you. And it was getting to me. And once my mental state was gone, it was easy to say, ooh, it's going to be comfortable back home. I missed my routine. I missed everything that I had at home. And there was definitely a new routine that was trying to develop here, but it just didn't take hold. Having to go to the bathroom in the woods every single day is not easy and not fun. Getting sick of the same foods over and over again. I don't know that I'm going to be able to eat Pop-Tarts and ramen for a long time. Some people live off that their whole hike. Those little instant oatmeals, no, I'm done with those for quite a while. Instant coffee, oh my gosh, that's so bad. even water on the trail, you have to add electrolytes to it, but these electrolytes are so sweet. Even if you add half of the electrolytes to your water, it gets disgusting after a while. So that really was affecting me and keeping me from drinking as much as I needed to. So my plan, when I talked to Gwen, is that I was going to end my hike in Damascus, mile 471, which would have been next Friday, and I would have likely flown home next Sunday, so a week from today. That was a plan. I think she had even made the flight arrangements for me. I had told Gretel of my plans, and it was hard because these last 2 days I was actually enjoying myself. But again, I had it in my head that I was so excited about getting back to my routine that I was too far gone. So even though I didn't quit on a bad day, I don't think I quit on beautiful weather day. Once you quit on a good day, bad day, whatever it may be, you have it in your head, and it's not going to go away, and it's just going to keep eating at you. So I have to tell you, I am truly amazed by the people that are doing this, the people that are going to make it all the way. They have my utmost respect. I have a fraternity brother, Brian. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, but I know that he and his wife hiked the Pacific Crest Trail a few years back. Amazing. I'm so proud of you, Brian. You and your wife did something that not many people can do. And, there are people on this trail that are pursuing the Triple Crown. The Triple Crown involves the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, and the Continental Divide Trail. They're doing it all in 1 year. There's a woman that goes by Peg Leg and some guy that's with her known as Punisher, boyfriend, friend, I don't know. But they're pursuing the Triple Crown. They are already past New York. They were averaging 35 to 40 miles a day on this hike with packs. They're not trying to break a speed record. They're trying to get through this trail so they can move to the next trail and get through all 3 trails in a calendar year. I don't know the true mileage of that. I think it's well over 7,000 to 8,000 miles for all 3 trails. But in closing, I hope I didn't let anybody down. I don't really feel like I accomplished very much. Close to 400 miles, you might think that's amazing. To me, not so amazing. Far from the goal that I set for myself. And I know that I really kind of put myself out there when I put all these videos out. I included you in this hike because I wanted accountability, and you gave me that. And I truly appreciate it. And I know that you all believe in me. Maybe you don't think that I gave up on you. And I feel like I let you down and I disappointed you, but it's not affecting me mentally. I'm not upset. I'm not sad. I'm happy to be able to go home regardless of the injury. So thank you so much. And to all of my students that might be watching this, all of the families from Caseburg, I still believe in dreaming big. I do. That was my message, my theme all along, is to dream big and pursue your dreams. I do remember saying that regardless of whether I make it all the way to the end of the trail, when I first put that dream big message out there, I also said that there are a lot of lessons to be learned. Lessons through your experiences, lessons through mistakes you've made. You know how many times I went the wrong direction on this trail, and I probably had at least another 5 to 10 miles of wrong direction before I realized it and looked at my map. But anyway, I thank you all, and I appreciate everything you've done for me and motivating me and keeping me grounded. And just know that I hope you've enjoyed my videos. I'm sad to be not making them anymore because I did enjoy sharing my experience with everyone. And just know that I really tried to do this for myself and for you. But I'm not sad. And I don't know that I'll ever come back out here again. Maybe I will, and maybe I won't. But thank you so much for following along. Sorry. That was painful. But anyway, like I always say at the end of my videos, Sunny D out.